There is something frightening yet mesmerizing about a wall of water gushing down a valley, destroying any and everything in its path. Such is the catastrophe of nature known as a flood. It can turn the most peaceful-looking watercourse into a raging torrent capable of unimaginable devastation. The tallest building may prove no resistance to its force, and human lives and food crops can be completely wiped out. In this feature, we will explore this fury of nature and its impact on man and the environment. Severe floods in one country are sure to make world news headlines because of the destruction they cause to human life and property. According to the World Meteorological Organization, during 2002, floods in over 80 countries caused damage and disruption to the lives of over 17 million people within an 8-month period. The worst flood in recorded history occurred in China in 1931, when the Yellow River, also known as the Huanghe River, overflowed its banks, claiming the lives of an estimated 1 to 2 million people. In July 2007, massive floods in East India and Bangladesh resulted in over 1,000 deaths, 5 million displaced people, over 800,000 houses destroyed, and $88 million in agricultural damage.
Within the last 5 years, we have had a number of events stretching from as far south as Guyana to as far north as, say, Cuba. In particular, we had, about 20 storms occurring that have created severe infrastructure destruction, especially roads, bridges, culverts, and some deaths.
A survey done by the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, SEDEMA, in 2001 revealed that floods are the most frequent type of disaster worldwide. Even more surprising is the finding that, while flooding is the most frequent hazard, occurring in 90% of SEDEMA's 16 member states, only 75% of those countries had flood contingency plans in place. Floods are natural occurrences that happen when heavy rainfall fills rivers and streams above their normal capacity, or when coastal tides cause water levels to rise or surge. Simply put, a flood is an overflow of water that submerges the surrounding land. Floods can be categorized according to their duration. Flash floods occur and subside within minutes or a few hours after heavy rainfall, or due to the failure of dams or embankments. These floods can cause great damage because there is little time to prepare. Rapid onset floods also occur when water levels rise suddenly, but they usually last for 1 or 2 days. Like flash floods, they are difficult to predict and to take preventative action to reduce losses. With slow onset floods, water levels take a while to build up before overflowing. These floods develop slowly, sometimes over a period of days, and may last for weeks or even months. As this kind of flood lasts for a long period, its damaging effects are extensive and prolonged. Another type of flood is coastal flooding, which is caused by extreme tides and waves. These floods are associated with storms, hurricanes, and tsunamis. While floods are a natural occurrence, and many of us would seek to protect ourselves and our property from the damage caused, humans are often responsible for the flooding in the first place. Human activities play a major role in the increased occurrence of flooding the world has experienced in recent years. How is this? Well, let's take a look. The area of land that catches rainfall and allows it to drain into a stream, river, lake, swamp, or underground source, and eventually the ocean, is known as a watershed. The rate at which rainfall infiltrates soil and seeps downwards into groundwater significantly affects the probability of flooding. Several factors affect the infiltration rate, including soil type, topography, climate, and vegetative cover. Drainage of rainfall through the soil is also aided by the activity of burrowing animals, insects, and earthworms. Vegetation in a watershed helps to reduce flooding. Trees and plants capture and buffer the impact of rain droplets before they scatter the grains of soil on the ground. The roots of plants act to stabilize soil so that it does not wash away. The roots also create air spaces which make place for rainwater to occupy. When trees are cut down and plants uprooted, the roots are no longer there to absorb rainfall. As a result, there is more water flowing over the surface of the land. These factors result in soil erosion and siltation of rivers and streams. This reduces the amount of water that these waterways can hold and causes flooding. Other contributors to flooding are agricultural practices such as slash and burn and overcultivation on hillsides, which result in the loss of vegetation and soil erosion. Continuous population growth is another factor in increased flooding.
Some areas that were not flood-prone areas before are now becoming flood-prone areas because of other factors like urbanization. You find that the hillsides have been cleared for housing, both planned and unplanned. And the erosion that is taking place is bringing down a lot of sediment. That sediment is being deposited in the riverbed, and it is changing the carrying capacity of the river, especially some of the tributaries. In addition, we have poor terracing of the land when it is cleared for housing or agriculture. So you find that the water runs off very quickly from the upper portion of the catchment right into the lower portion at a very rapid rate. We are also seeing in some of these areas where people are building within the floodplain. So they are changing the meandering or the river course, such that it is affecting the river ability to carry that water down to the sea. So we also have, because of the heavy sediment building up at the mouth of the river, sandbars created, so that when the tide comes in, it takes a longer time for the water to go back out, to recede, and therefore it restricts the flow of the river, and therefore it backs up within the catchment.